everyone, I mean, even he thought that he was going to be out of Liquid, that he was looking to sort of, quit after the major, I think, and then, or at least quit the team. But then Nerds has also been, I think, playing worse than he's almost ever played for a while now. And it's kind of a shame because, honestly, with Elige, Nerds, and Naf, like that trio of players alone is kind of sick. Like, that's a sick, 3 pillars to play to build a team around. I like it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Because, I mean, when Nerds first joined Liquid from Heroic, and obviously before that in ENCE as well back in CSGO, he was one of the most hotly contested sort of rifles. Where's he going to go? And I just don't think it's necessarily paid off as well for him as people were hoping for. But we'll see if it does in this matchup. Liquid going to be occupying the T side, looking to try and execute on the A side here. They got 2 smokes and 4 flashes to play with, but 4 CTs are laid in wait.
Is it going to be like a double pump? What's Sue doing on the other side with the smoke? So they smoke this off, they're waiting. And look at Sue, he's just waiting here. So I think they're throwing the first wall. Then they're going to pretend like, well, now the real attack is coming to the B bomb side. So they're starting to try and set that up, but they get flashed in instead and Elite goes down. That is a real disaster for the Fake. I love the idea, and honestly, in spite of the kills over here, you could tell on the minimap there, MIBR were actually rotating out to the B bomb side, so I think the Fake would have worked. Unfortunately, MIBR just testing that ramp and catching a couple of players, that's all it took. Otherwise, a sick idea for Liquid, but I think it's going to be hard to recover now.
Yeah, it almost feels like Liquid had like this 3 of a kind, and then the Royal Flush comes out from MIBR. They have the perfect counter as they flash in and go for that peak. It's almost the perfect way of dealing with the play that Liquid was setting up. But I do agree. I love the idea. The concept of this play is awesome. And they're not necessarily done just yet, Anders. Still 3 players, still healthy, and they have a few flashes. And considering that 3 of the 5 are still over on A side of MIBR, there is maybe another couple of twists and turns left in this round yet.
I mean, it's actually strangely winnable. It's not a big chance here for Liquid, but one good Glock kill to entry with. You never really know. Trying to get it right there, but Kick it, shooting him at the side of the head instead. Breno sort of fumbling the lines a bit here, but Insani's got him on the other side. Sui's going to be going down, and MIBR will pick up the round to begin with. So, yeah, great work flashing the way out. I'm really sad that we didn't get to see the full execution of that strategy, because it's a really cool idea. It really is.
But Klim quickly put an end to that with those Julies. The flashbang could not have been better placed, and there's Kicker showing why they picked him up. Obviously a player of a huge amount of veterancy, 26 years old. He is a major winner, of course, back at Rio.
Yeah.
So a ton of accolades that he's picked up along the way. And it was a bit of an eyebrow raiser for a lot of people when MIBR went to the CIS sort of region, kind of pulling out a similar idea of Furia, I guess you could say, with Molodoy and Yakindar, getting Klim, who is Russian, and then Kicker, who, of course, from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the new thing, isn't it? Just find a Kazakhstani player and just import him into your team. That's what we do. Not that I can really blame them. The Molodoy story has been nothing short of amazing. And for a small country, population-wise at least, Kazakhstan has managed to produce a lot of talent. It's kind of wild. Them and obviously Mongolia next door is like both countries doing phenomenal work in Counter-Strike at the moment. Klim in the middle, he is going to do pretty good work, and he'll actually find a triple towards the end of it, so, we'll take it. Quick round, nothing too spectacular. Attempted run boost, didn't really work out. We're quick into the 3rd round. Liquid going to start to pick up some rifles, and we'll see if they can get activated. So far, they have 1 kill on Sui. Not to read too much into it, but just saying that it's a bit of a slow start.
Yes, a rough start, but of course, very early days. And I was thinking of other Kazakhstan players. Of course, Hobbit is another one of those legendary Kazakhstan players. It's had a lot of success over the years. But in here and now, we have full rifles on both sides. Elige is going to be leading the charge through the smokes on middle. Molotov's also down into corner. It's going to allow him to focus into window, and he will pluck off the head of Klim. And is looking for more, but catches a grenade for his troubles.
You almost wanted to re-engage there. Breno, this is a wild play. After you know there's a player down there pushing up to try and fight against Ultimate. I think the real thought there for Breno is that it's such a surprise that he would have been there, that he has an advantage. In the fight, he probably had an advantage, but nice shot from Ultimate on the other side. Not with the AWP yet. But definitely, I think a player that's shown, like his highs are really high for Ultimate. The consistency sometimes is lacking, but when he is good, it's super scary.
Damage inflicted, and now MIBR left to stew in this one. What's their decision process going to be? And they decide to rotate 2 of their 3 over onto B, and that would be the correct decision in terms of trying to fend off the push. It's going to be 2-pronged though. 2 players also going through a catwalk who have dealt with Kicker. FP9 sprays down, 1 exit, picks up a second, still alive, and opens it up for Insani to punish. And although it's a 1v2, one of these 2 players is exceptionally low, but Shui will put down Insani. It was looking like it may just line up for him, but Liquid finally off the score and get themselves 1 on the board.
Whew, okay. That double kill for Exit at the back, that had me worried for just a second. And honestly, if you're going to lose the round here, at least doing some damage to the Liquid economy is something to work with, I suppose. Gives you a little bit extra in terms of the bonuses just for getting the kills there on the CT side. And Exit with a double MP9 kill also going to be making a lot more money for himself. So that's worth thinking about. No AWPs in play just yet. Classic grenades in the middle being exchanged here. Trying to blow open the smoke to see if anyone is hiding inside of it, which definitely can be the case. But yeah, Liquid, they're out behind the carts up at the top here. Oh, it's a good idea, and Sue able to pick it up. Klim is down and out.
Yeah, dead and buried. Lee's going to be traipsing over some of the fallen enemies. There's a bit of a carbon copy from the last round, just peering up onto the catwalk. Exit in a pretty tumultuous position, but not for the first time. He's going to pass with flying colors for the first player. Knew that he couldn't stay in that same position. The problem is that there was no help, no reprieve from his teammates. And with a minute left on the clock, the bomb's starting to get planted down, and Sani's position now has certainly been confirmed as his feet get singed from the Molotov. But already post-plant positions have been assumed. I don't think there's too much that MIBR can do about this.
That was kind of a clutch smoke going down to stop Insani from even finding any kind of a kill there. So really well played. Liquid, nothing too flashy on the tactical side. You get the mid control and then you take connector and move on into the A-bomb side. I mean, it was pretty straightforward. But yeah, good kills coming through. Sui in charge of landing some of those, double kill for him. And that'll tie up the game. More importantly, it'll put a real dent in the MIBR economy here. So these 2 rifles, that's probably what they have to work with in the next round. Liquid know it as well, I'm sure. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they start a bit slower in this next round, Liquid, just because there's a real temptation, I think, for MIBR to try to push a little bit with these rifles, or maybe push with the pistols and the rifles behind. Just because when you have no utility and you're just waiting around at the back of a site, that's not a good feeling if you're on the CT side here.
They are throwing over most of their players inside. Oh, damage to Nerds. Was that team damage? Yeah, it must have been, because Insani wasn't in a position to have landed that. So, unfortunate. It happens.
I said slow, but they're absolutely not slow. They're going for it. Nerds could be... No, he's going to be fine. I was going to say that smoke's fading. It was, but not in time for Insani to get the kill. He's going to shut down 1 player, but it lost the bomb site. Nice idea to push in front, but it was being covered by more than a single person. And don't think they're making it into the windows from this position. So, unfortunately, going to lose the M4 and the round as well.
Yeah, no real hopes of doing much other than saving the A4. The 2 players that are near murder hole could try and spruce together maybe a save AK if NAF does overstay his welcome or overextend. But 3-2 will be the score. Molotov down. That will affect Exit, and he has to get out of dodge. Won't be punished fully, although that grenade may finish him off if he's not careful, and it does. The dunk from range. Oh, bless him.
That's so petty as well. he just spent like, I don't know how much, like $700. I mean, just to try and get a kill on a USP. You know, just one guy with the USP. Please let him be. I love it.
Exit also just 100-0 purely from grenades. Like, just couldn't even do anything. Dead.
It's good. I like seeing that fly back a little bit. It was sad. I'm a sort of a lifelong NAF enjoyer. So I feel like watching him kind of crumble at some stage there was pretty rough. I think he's still a pretty solid player, and I think he's proven that in the last couple of tournaments that we've seen from him. So hopefully that can continue. Round number 6, and we'll see if MIBR can bounce back. They won the pistol and the following round, but as soon as Liquid have had rifles, it's been a little bit one-sided so far. Sue, oh, this is sick though, walking in, and Sani's actually reloading on the other side. The timing is epic for Sui, but is he going to be able to get the both kills? No, none of them in fact. Exit turns around and shuts him down. Oh, there was a real big window.
Oh, an Exit from strength to strength though is going to make the most of this and punish it. Second kill comes through, and although Nafas get one, it's going to be put down instantly, and Nerds on 19 ADR, 0-4 can do nothing at the end to stop the rot. But yeah, I mean, that's a round that Sue is going to be so disappointed by, so frustrated, because he comes out connector, he guesses the 50-50, it was the wrong way. Very unfortunate, punished, and that was their open. That was their chance.
I mean, it's even hard to blame them. Obviously, at the end of it, this is a very one-sided round with only one kill going in favor of Liquid. But at the same time, when you look at how much was on the line for that one opening in connector, if they win that fight, if Sui even gets one kill, that's probably it. They're ready to go on that A bomb side. So, a little bit unfortunate at the end of it. Naf playing up in the palace. He does this a lot, and it's one of those things where if you study enough Liquid demos, you can definitely find ways to try and punish him. And some teams have in the past. I remember there are some teams who try to make sort of a point of fighting Naf up there. But MIBR are not in that mood at the moment. They finally pick up the AWP on Klim.
Right, and so when you have the open play, you have some AKs in play as well. Maybe not feeling like you have to be the aggressor in a round like this. Play a little bit more patiently and passively and allow the T's to walk into you. They've taken a lot of early mid control, typically with Elige being the spearhead of the operation. This time he's scampering through an underpass side. Just 40 seconds left, and although they do have mid, these smokes are going to begin to fade sooner rather than later. They're going to replenish it and allow Elige to get up, and he gets the entry and then just runs back out again.
It's a disgusting play with the smoke for Elige as well to make that jump up here. Kicker in so much trouble. He does get the kill, but it's unfortunately a little bit too late here. Breno at the back, only 20 seconds left. Oh, he just barely shows himself. And ultimate is there. Crosshair trained on the corner. Klim shows up. He wants to get away, but unfortunately he's stuck by the bin. That is not how you want to go. Honestly, the chances that he get all the kills there, it's unlikely that he's going to get a 1 versus 3, but you know what? With the time that was left, he didn't even need to. If he just gets one kill and can stop the bomb from going down, that's about it. So I love the attempt, but it doesn't really work out.
Yeah, I can really admire that aggression that he showed. Like you say, if he can get a kill, suddenly things get really interesting. 14 seconds left when he nailed Elige, and Ultimate was watching. So Liquid regained the lead, but yeah, that play from Elige is so heads up, man. Like, the smoke's about to fade. He underarms the smoke down, knowing it would plume perfectly to keep himself sheathed and stealthed in there, gets the entry, doesn't try and get a second, right? He doesn't get that greed. A lot of players would stick around and try and be the hero and get a second frag, and then they end up getting traded back, and it's not really as valuable anymore. He gets the kill and just pieces out instantly. No hesitation whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's highlight worthy. We often end up talking about just the frags alone, but sometimes making the decision to say that's it, that's all I needed, it really goes a long way. You said Elige, mechanically good. He's definitely a smart player, and Liquid no doubt are going to be strong with him. But let's see how long it lasts for, because that's always the problem for Liquid, is that when things go off the rails, sometimes they just go completely off the rails, and there's no recovering anything. So, in the back of my mind, I'm still waiting for that. Nuts has got 0 kills. Not that it's necessarily a disaster yet. Oh my god, that is a disaster, though. Insani caught in the window, jumping away. More display here of Elige and his ridiculous mechanics.
And unfortunately, I think that kind of spurred Exit into action. You've lost a player, you have very little utility across the team, you don't have a kit. you kind of have to get aggressive at that point. You can't just turtle in. You will always pretty much lose. It's a real scrappy, weird fight in the ladder room, but Nertz comes out ahead and gets his first kill on the board in the process, leaving Klim. And this time there is no reason for him to get over aggressive and throw the AWP away. In fact, it's not an AWP, it's the M4, pardon me. Still valuable, still needs to hold on to it for dear life if he can. And Liquid just starting to pull away. Again, as you highlighted, for those viewers that have just joined us, keep in mind, MIBR, they won the pistol and they were 2-0 up. And since then, it's been pretty one-sided in favor of Liquid.
Yeah, that really... It's not been much going in the way of MIBR since upgrading into an AK and making a bit of a run for it. He knows that they're going to be coming here, and unfortunately, not a lot of health left. He's going to end up going down. Liquid add another round of the tally, 5-3. Now, this is their map pick, and Nuke being the second map, I think, is... it's not bad at all for MIBR. Good chance we could be seeing all 3 maps again in the series, if I'm being perfectly honest. But what a start. I don't even know how you do that. That's such a ridiculous kill for Elige. Nap also adding to the mix a little bit here. And Nertz finding his first kill. That's nice, even though it was chaotic. I think it was like 22 bullets for him to find that one.
Yeah, in amongst the smoke. Did get a couple of tags, and I think that kind of dialed in his senses a little bit. Sui, though, kicks off with Insani. Second consecutive round, he dies first in window. This time unfortunate through the smoke. And Liquid, again, just slow it down. Don't feel compelled to get too aggressive. They got the pick they were looking for. They know MIBR's economy is in the bin. You don't want to push headfirst into a disadvantageous kind of stack or crossfire. So allow the 2 players on A to just clear out the angle. Sui can then come through on the connector side as they blow up in the smoke. And the spray is good from Nertz. Pretty straightforward, 6-3 lead.
Yeah, not much of a discussion to be had about that, unfortunately, for MIBR. CT side as well, off Mirage. Not that you can't have good T sides here, but you're kind of hoping to at least tie up the game. Probably even want a bit of an advantage going into the second half here, but for MIBR, that's quite out of reach at the moment, is what it feels like. I guess the one thing that's kind of even across all of these rounds that we've seen so far for Liquid is the fact that they're getting so much mid control without MIBR being able to stop them. And there are obviously ways to, like, if you really want to, there are ways to do like a 3-way push into middle where you're pushing window, connector, and catwalk from B. You get flashed over either from the B bomb side or from A. Like, there are so many flashes to throw over the walls here. So there are ways to try and take the fight to Liquid in the middle if you really want to. And maybe they're going to have to think about that, because it feels like once Liquid have mid control, the rest of the round is not necessarily done from the start, but they have a really, really good confidence going into the rest of it.
Yeah, and you often see teams, if they're not going to fight for mid-control, they're fighting on the sort of perimeter or the periphery of the maps. Like, they're pushing through into Palace, like you highlighted earlier. They're getting through onto the B-App side. They're trying to rotate around the back to try and at least alleviate some of the pressures that will be building, as that smoke, I believe, just missed window. So that could be a potential problem, but ultimately it's going to try and make up for that. And Insani, 3rd consecutive round, dies the exact same way. Bruh.
Did he just not see him at all? I feel like Insani had the view on top there. Missed flick, but doesn't really matter here. Klim in the middle, goes down, no scope from ultimate. Yeah, you're right, unfortunately for Insani. And I think he is supposed to be the real dangerous weapon on this team, so that's a bit surprising to see him drop like this.
I'm definitely giving too much credit to Liquid here, but could you imagine if there was actually a set play where you missed the smoke intentionally because your AWP has the best spawn to be on mid boxes and you bait the window pick?
I think there's another argument to be made for doing the missed smoke one, which is that if you miss the smoke in the middle and then you just throw this close top mid smoke and then you blow that open yourself. Which people already do that without the window smoke. Like, whenever there's not a window smoke on Mirage, you should think on the CT side, man, they're gonna blow open their own smoke at top mid. That almost always happens. But yeah, I mean, it's like a really long debate that's been had in the community, I feel like, where people say, did they miss it intentionally? And I think you can make an argument that that can be done in certain circumstances.
Well, this round, plenty of smokes have connected. Has afforded Liquids a red carpet out to the A side, and they're going to oblige with an easy plant. 3 MP9s in play. Not really anything for MIBR to do here. They have softened up Nertz as a target, but he backs away, doesn't want to play up close. And they're going to be coming through together as 4. The only other player is Insani, who is still around the window side, and he could get the drop onto Sui, who's now moving into Connector. Spray, though, from Nertz is good, and it's just going to be very straightforward. This round is going to go the way of Liquid. Whether a single casualty is going to fall upon the T side is yet to be seen, but this has been a pretty straightforward half of Counter-Strike as far as Liquid are concerned. It does look like Insani will be able to hold on to the AK, but still a vast lead for Liquid as we move towards the end of the half.
(8-3). Quite the lead from losing the pistol round and then bouncing back into this. I must say I'm super impressed here. MIBR, where is the response? Best they could do right now is an 8-4 scoreline, of course. So this is the final round of the half, but how can you possibly recover this? It just feels like it's so far done. Sue's top fragging and in-game leading at the same time is a 9-6 scoreline for him individually, and doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. By the way, there was no window smoke this time, and they didn't blow open the smoke, like I said, but typically this kind of a setup means you're going to be going for some kind of a trick there. Sue trying to push forward here as Clem has found the one opening kill. Grenade right down in front. The pressure is on, but he's going to stand tall. That's really sick. A double kill before he's finally eliminated.
Did he just hit Naf as well? I think he did. I think he winged Naf on the way out. He like wide swung into the Molotov, realizing he was dead anyway. And I think he winged Naf. That's a huge shot. Great play for Clem. And now speaking of Naf, he is last man standing. Has no primary. Going to be switching across to the AWP. Should be a gimme, but he's missed his shot and he gets punished. 8-4 half anyway. Good half for Liquid, all things considered.
And you see the assist there from Clem at the end, so you're absolutely right, Vince. He did. That must have almost been like a no-scope. I don't even know how he manages to get that. It's so ridiculous.
That's absurd. That is absolutely absurd. Like, the first 2 kills are solid. The third shot's crazy. And considering that they got battered for that half, Clem was one of the shining lights. He's showing him his worth for sure early on. But still, a vast deficit that they're going to have to be coming up against. And a question I had for you, Anders, now we've got a little bit of downtime here, and I know it's a difficult one, but I'd be curious to pick your brains on this with Unleash moving across Liquid. What do you think is the cap? What's the ceiling for this Liquid squad, do you think, as this current 5? Are they a potential top 5 contender in your eyes? Is that maybe too much?
I mean, the thing is, if I just forget about everything that's to do with, you know, the personality side of it and the sort of struggles they've had with tilting and getting too angry at the game or whatever, I still think if I say out loud, like, you know, good Naf, Elige, and Nertz, that rifle trio alone, to me, just sounds super dangerous. I really think Ultimate has, you know, his moments. I think he could do a lot still. So I don't think it's completely crazy, right? The only thing is, there's a big question in my mind, which is that, you remember when Sui left Mouse and everyone said, oh, that's it, GG, Mouse are cooked now, what, you're going to have Brolan IGLing, what the hell is this? And then it turned out it was actually fine, and it kind of made me wonder, you know, and then obviously it didn't necessarily work out for Liquid either, having Sui here, so that's maybe the one thing, is like, how much of an impact is he going to have from an IGL point of view? But I honestly think that the future could be pretty bright. The thing that worries me is always the, you know, the mental side of the game for them. But we'll hold the phone on this one because Naf is about to be testing those dualies.
Oh, it looks like they're working just fine. 2 kills for Naf. But there's Insani. Nertz, the meanwhile, though, going to be picking up the slack and picking up the head of Kickert. And now Insani and Exit have a tall task ahead of them, also isolated and secluded from one another. Insani getting up close and personal in the smoke, but Exit still needs to drop out of the apps and get that bomb plant. Insani, though, is going to be bodyguarding his IGL. Exit goes back in, but he is now last man standing. Glock up close. First shot is brisk. It is a nice one onto Sui. There needs to be 2 more where from that came from, and he's got the second, and he knows roughly where Elige is. Those Julies, though, picked up from the corpse of Naf, will be capable of clutching the round out. Way too close for comfort, but they get the job done. open the round here with those Julies on the 2 kills. And now Nertz pretty much putting this one to bed. As are Liquid realistically on Mirage. That's a 9-4 scoreline. Pistol is going to go their way, and MIBR won the first, but weren't really able to do a great deal with it. Picked up the 2-0, then he started to slip and slide once the rifles were in consistently. No real investment into this round to speak of either. It is grim times. Double digits being eyed up from Liquid. As Exit down in the underpass with his Desert Eagle. Pretty much waiting for a mistake at this point. And there's not really any incentive for Liquid to go looking. They have the advantages in terms of firepower. You can see they've really invested in the rifles. 2 FAMAS and 3... Oh, sorry, pardon me. 3 FAMAS and 2 M4s. It does mean in terms of the smokes and Molotovs, though, it's going to be pretty barren and bereft of being able to have control for too long. No, it's not going to be watching. It's going to be the run boost, and it gets spotted from Elige, who takes out the foundation and spills the rest of the blood on the ground up on middle. Elige dips in for 4, padding those stats nicely. And 10 rounds has now come about. Anders? I can't hear you if you are speaking. Naf now, and a 1-on-2 kicker and Exit. Just clearing out their angles. Going to be going in for the 1 plant. They're not sure exactly where he is currently with that FAMAS. HE in tow. And now Naf is starting to make a move around. I don't know if he has any intention of actually going for this clutch, considering that there's been more than enough time for really good post-plant positions. He has no kit either, and still has a buffer of rounds to play with. So I think the FAMAS is going to be saved. Maybe look for an exit frag or an upgraded weapon. But yeah, this round is going to be going across to MIBR for sure.
Terrorists win.
Hello. Okay, cool. Right, I'll cast until I hear Anders then, because I'm not sure if he's having tech issues or not. Either way, 10-5 the score. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to be getting into the action hot and heavy. MIBR picking up the pace, and it's going to be Nerd that holds the line with 2, and Shui from Shadow that strikes for another one. And this round over in the blink of an eye. It looked like MIBR may be able to muster up a little bit of momentum, but that's been quickly cut short. Replay shows how wrongly this execute went. Nice kills in the end, MIBR. I mean, I can appreciate they try to mix up the pace. They try to get aggressive. But ultimately, they ran into a brick wall. And Liquid showing why they're probably the favorites to take this game. I mean, Nuke up next. It's not a great map necessarily for Liquid. A lot of that is based off the sort of Twist's tenure within this squad, though. And it's not great in terms of their finances either. They're going to have the AK on Insani. Apart from that, though, pretty much bare bones. As we try and jump into round 17, Liquid. Also, to make matters worse on the side of MIBR, as if it wasn't already bleak, have 4 rifles alongside the AWP, 3 of which are AKs. So they are feeling real good right about now. Insani looking for that boost. They've done this before. Nerd survives by the slither on 9 HP. Can back out of there, importantly. Probably a kill that Insani will be disappointed he wasn't able to devour quickly. And Alige doing something that MIBR did not do at any point on their CT side. And that's get aggressive and try and wrap around the back through underpass. And they have no idea about this. The consequences of this flank can be so severe. Alige doesn't even need to fully commit to this. He'll just have the intel for days. And now they're going to start to line up as he sprays in for 2 players. And that's just job done. Sure, he goes down. But the intel and the kills that he picks up are worth so much. And Liquid looking good for the 12-5 lead. And realistically, Mirage on top of it. Insani is the real only hope that they have as Kicker is wrapping around. He's had a rough game individually at 4 kills. The other problem as well is like you kind of do need to try and escalate your economy forward as well if you are MIBR. Considering they did hero buy with that AK, so you almost do need to die and maybe get a bomb plant in the process. Oh, I say that, but Insani's lined up too. Ultimate and Shui trip over each other's shoelaces and now give an opportunity back into this round. Nert's watching for the cross. Oh, he actually traces him while flashbang. That's a hell of a shot onto Kickert. And with 8 seconds left, Nertz is dunked on with the HE. This would be a ridiculous 2v4 clutch to keep MIBR alive on this map. And it's down to Naf. 11 kills by his name. Insani's also on for the ace. On top of the 1v2 clutch. As Naf is slowly protruding his way on triple, spots Insani but misses his chance, and now gives him an opportunity to return in kind, but Naf on the wide swing will not miss twice. Dashing the clutch, dashing the hopes of MIBR in the process, and securing 7 map points for Liquid.
Testing.
Hello, I can hear you.
That's great progress. We're back once again.
We're so back.
Well, you can see that Liquid are still doing quite good, even though, as you know, I just skipped around. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We're back into the mix of things here. I mean, the road back surely for MIBR is too much to handle at this stage.
Yeah, it very much feels that way. I don't know how much of that round you caught, Anders, but Insani tried everything he possibly could, like properly carrying MIBR on his back, and it still wasn't enough.
It's 12-5 as a scoreline. I mean, it's a real long road. We've seen a crazier comeback earlier today, but that was FaZe somehow running out of steam. This one surely in the bag, at least for the opening map. Smokes all across the middle for MIBR, making absolutely sure that no one's going to be able to break through this one, and towards the jungle as well. So putting up some pretty good utility here for a hit. They're also pretty much out of smoke, so they have to make something work. They're not going to find a single player inside of the site, so Liquid have just fallen back and said, yeah, you can have the bomb site. We'll take the rest of the map and then go for a bit of a retake later on. And they already start before the bomb is even planted. They get exit.
They do ultimate, though, is hanging by a thread on 2 HP. But there is that wraparound again from Nerds. That kind of constant looking to try and make a play, trying to get the advantage that we've seen on Liquid CT side has been such a difference maker. And that is the bomb denied, spilled out into the open. Nerds needn't re-peek. He can just hide in there and ramp and let the rest of his teammates encircle the T's. But he does lose his AWPer. Ultimate's been put down in the dirt. Spray from Naf is good. Starts tapping. And a lot of damage inflicted. 1 HP for Insani and 28 on Brennan. And it could not be a worse position right now, considering how little time there is left. They've been boxed into an awkward position. And Insani has to try and pull off a miraculous clutch, but it will not happen. Liquid will take the first map 13-5 and make it look so easy in the process.
Wow, you could tell how incredibly awkward, obviously sick play with the wall bang to stop that from going down to begin with. High fives for Liquid. Really solid map being played by them here. This is the kind of start that you're really hoping for a team like this one. Obviously been through quite a bit to get the lineup together, but this is super well played. Opening map.
Rather than go through more gauntlets and more matches. It does seem, though, that we are ready. I can see all the T's lining up together there on the side of MIBR. Obviously, that means Liquid going to be on the CT side, as you'd expect. This is MIBR's choice of map. And let's see if they can strike gold early on here. I'm curious how much utility are we going to see on the T side, though? Because I feel like it's always a mixed bag when it comes to nuke T side. Some teams actually opt to just go for straight up 0 utility and just run and gun it down. But here we go. It's Molotov and HE for exit.
Okay. So not necessarily a crazy amount, but could be definitely enough to make a bit of a breakthrough. HE, we'll see if it's going to be used for the squeak door immediately. No, they're going to be walking around a little bit, so they might still do it, but now it feels like it could be sort of more of a fake to try and delay something. We'll see if they're going to be able to do that. So yeah, just sending it in as a bit of a warning. They run into the dualies though, and Ultimate and Naf will get a kill each before they start to try and wrap array. Ultimate was very low on health already, so they are definitely on him. I think they know that he's been gooshed, so trying to retreat to the next corner with the USP. Fires off a single shot. He just wanted that one attempt there, but back around the corner he goes. Nert's also very low on health here. The bomb soon to be planted, surely, but they're actually running and taking the fight instead. They want to see if they can gun down somebody before they even go for it, and now I think, unfortunately, they might be in a bit of trouble here. Exit walking up behind. Oh, Elise, she fell off the sink just as Exit were looking to jump them. That would have been so sick otherwise, but I think, unfortunately, they might have missed their window here, MIBR. I think they had a chance for a bomb plant, but now it's kind of gone.
Merton screen, but it is Klim that's on the server, and meanwhile, Shui just puts him down instantly with the USP. And yeah, that is going to be super frustrating if you're Exit, because you could see he was trying to go down there, get the insta-kill onto Elige, and because he saw the Julies, I think you would have had a good idea as well that it wasn't one of the weakened players, anticipating a second player to be the gooshed up player that we talked about earlier, which was Ultimate and Nerds. And so he was trying to make the most of that position, but the timing could not have been worse. Very unfortunate. Liquid, though, well played. No post-plant means, realistically, no real buy. There is a deagle for Klim, as he did pick himself up a kill in the previous one, but that is it. And they're trying to utilize that over onto ramp. Insani is still back at spawn. Maybe treating this as a bit of a mini tactical timeout, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, always worth it to just have a moment to try and discuss things. Of course, on Mirage, they won the pistol in the opening half, and then they kind of went on to lose pretty quickly afterwards once Liquid picked up rifles. So the fact that Liquid have already won the first round, perhaps a bit of a bad sign for MIBR. Liquid just, they look fired up and ready. Elige, he's kind of trapped in here, but he's got a little bit of backup with him. Grenades are being thrown out, and you could see he's starting to feel nervous. There we go. The swing is in for Nerds. Now I think he's got more of a chance to maybe escape, which you definitely want to do. Don't want to be giving up the M4. I don't mind the position to begin with, but don't overstay your welcome either.
Exactly. Knowing that the cavalry was about to arrive. I think it goes again to just show, like, Elige has such a good read of the game in terms of, like, the dynamics of how it operates. You don't want to be playing in a close angle where you effectively jail yourself into getting rushed down by multiple Glocks. And the Glock is always going to do more damage up close, even against the Kevlar. So backing away also allows them to kind of filter into a narrow angle angle that you can attack, but also kind of neutralize some of the damage that the T's can also inflict to you, while also activating the crossfire from both the backside of Garage and also around the main side where Ultimate was coming in from. So, well played by Elise, but MIBR now do have some AKs at their disposal, and they're throwing down the mollies ever so quickly.
Yeah, that running Molotov to the hut has become just so popular. You go back like a year and a half, that was not a thing that people were doing, but now it is. Look at Exit. He wants to play at the edge of the smoke, but no. Oh my god, Nerds was ready. I can't believe what an entry for Exit. Reno to follow it up with a double kill, but then Ultimate from the high ground, trying to bring the round back. Nav, undetected, walks into the shot. Unfortunately, I think he had a moment where Klim had no idea that he was up there, but it's Insani with the headshot. It's MIBR with their first rifle round, and they pick it up here, and I'm still shocked. I'm blown away that Exit found that kill onto Nerds.
Yeah, individually he's had some really good moments over the course of that Mirage, although it was quite brief. A few doubles and really important entry frags. I think Liquid will be bitterly disappointed that this one slipped realistically when they had Ultimate on that double. But good news for the third map enjoyers and enthusiasts. MIBR get on the scoreboard early and keep that economy honest. And there is an AWP picked up. There's only one flash on a Liege, a couple for Shui, and a smoke, and that's basically all the utility that they possess right now. Going all in on the firepower front. So potentially going to get aggressive outside of Squeaky here.
Could be interesting if they actually manage to do it in time. They are pushing up in the lobby behind Ultimate. One kill would do it right now, and he's gonna challenge the Molotov to get that one. Naf goes down. The flank is still in, like you said. Aggressive towards Squeak Door, but they can't run. This is the issue. They've got the right idea, but if they start running, obviously MIBR are going to know. So instead, Liquid have to keep on walking and just hope that they get here with just enough time to shock somebody. The bomb is going to be planted, though, and MIBR, they don't know it, but they've dodged a massive bullet already.
Yeah, now they can start to focus their attention on ramp, where it becomes much more of a timing that makes sense. A 1-for-1 trade quickly turns into kicker on a double. And Ultimate can do little but save this AWP. And that kind of felt like, you know, have you ever had one of those dreams where you're like punching in slow motion, Anders?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It kind of felt like that, right? Like you want to spur into action when you're those two players rotating around, but you know the second you start running, that sound cue goes across and it's completely wrecked. It's got to be frustrating for sure, but credit to MIBR. 2-2 now. They also deny the saved AWP. There is really nothing to play with for Liquid.
Yeah, it's just that's very hard to deal with, obviously. I think Naf going down at the beginning was, I don't know if it was his fault or not, but if he'd stayed alive there, I think that would have made the flank work. But unfortunately, Ultimate couldn't stop them from moving forward, and Naf died, so there was nothing that stopped them from going down to the B-bomb side. I bet you on the demo, when they go back and review it here, MIBR, they're going to be thankful that they kept on going and didn't wait for longer. Boost up towards the ramp it's so classic, and I feel like I always say in a round like this one, when you know the CTs don't have the economy, MIBR should never be falling for this, but we still see teams that end up walking into this kind of a stack, and hopefully MIBR will dodge it here.
Yeah, they're actually anticipating more so an aggressive push outside of Squeaky and the HUT side. And it makes sense because that fast rotation down through onto the ramp early, they may have assumed it was from like heaven through hell, but the other element is like, did we get pushed fast through like HUT and Squeaky respectively? Is this going to be a play that Liquid have up their sleeve further on? It's one of those kind of conditional plays that is going to be in the back of your mind if you're MIBR. Now the problem comes in that you need to balance being careful with being too passive, because time is starting to run dry. They still got more than enough to get on the bomb site, but they haven't cleared out any of the angles on A for the most part. Hence the Molotov and flashes that are now coming through, but Nerds is going to be activated with that 5-7, gets one.
That's the bomb.
The downside is there's not that much else though in terms of firepower, and yes, MIBR come back through again, even though the bomb was dropped down. Ultimately, the firepower is just too much to deal with.
So he wants to make a jump for it with a knife. You've got to love it. Oh, what a sick idea that was. But yeah, I was nervous for a second. I thought that, you know, I think Kicker had the bomb on his back. I thought that he was going to get isolated. Like you said, the time was running low. So there was a world in which that could have got like a bit of a squirrely round for them. It wasn't though. So 3, MIBR started to pick up some steam. Their money's looking pretty decent. Liquid, what could they do here? Ultimate's got 7 kills, but everybody else on the team is a lot further behind.
Very lopsided. And there's going to be such an aggressive vent dive from Brennan, and he's not been spotted here. I mean, I'm sure they would have heard that, but he's already down onto the site with a bomb, and this plant is going to be going through. Just lightning fast.
All right, then. That's honestly, this sounds silly. It might be a save already. Yeah, they're running away. They've already made the choice. That's round done with not a single kill going in favor of either team. And now it doesn't matter. It's too late. But that's such a shocking way to win a round. I can't believe it.
Had the best spawn and just held W. Had the bomb. Yeah. I mean, I guess as far as, I was going to say, as far as Liquid are concerned, at least they keep all 5 players alive, but Naf has now been put down on the outskirts of ramp. I think he was trying to save a round. So, yeah, that's a rough one. They do manage to hold on to an AK, but that is so good for MIBR, not just in terms of getting the 4-2, but their money now is in such a strong place. And Liquid will be calling a tactical as a direct result of how this map is looking right now.
Yeah, I mean, now is probably a good time for it, especially when you think about how some of the frustration could eat at Liquid over time. I think doing these tactical timeouts early on before, even if this is MIBR's map pick, I'm sure that Liquid are thinking about, you know, ways to try and turn that around and kind of shock them and get back in and win it. So you don't want the frustration to be too much before Flashy has a chance to chime in. Maybe calm the nerves a little bit for everybody involved. Oh, it's such a great round to call that vent drop in as well, just because of if Liquid have even a little bit of a money problem there on the CT side, they might be less incentivized to throw some of the early grenades, and if they don't, then you can get down pretty quickly. So mission accomplished, at least for that one round. Here comes the early utility to stop that from happening as much as you can, but this time they're not even there. They're going to be outside instead. MIBR's classic 4-1 split. Breno is holding that inside lobby, and the rest are going to be working their way over, dropping the smokes for the cross.
It kind of forces Liquid's hand as well to throw so much utility early on to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And that is freeing open MIBR elsewhere on the map as, and Sani does take a tick of damage there. Fortunately for him, no one's close enough in Garage to have heard that, but they already have sent Nerds downstairs to deal with this possible threat.
Yeah, but you can see that Liquid have no idea what's going on. They know the smokes are outside, they just have no idea how many people have walked past. So Nerds alone, I don't think will cut it. They need somebody else here. He's in a good position where he's going to have the shadow advantage, assuming that they actually come through on that side. Ultimate here on the other side of things could be really scary. If either Nerds or Ultimate dies, the round, I think it's gonna disappear almost immediately. There's Nerds winning that first fight, and again, he has a big advantage. Out in the open is Ultimate, and he's surely going to get traded out here. Oh, it's a great double kill. I'm surprised they don't jump him a little bit quicker than that. Kickit will find himself alone and with no chance at winning this round whatsoever.
Almost mission impossible, isn't it? Realistically, his mission has changed now to do as much damage as possible on your way out. He must know he's not going to be given the luxury of holding on to this AK, so he has to try and take as many players with him as possible. And 2, that's a valiant attempt. That keeps the money honest on the CT side. They can't fully establish themselves. I mean, it's definitely looking better, but considering the Ultimate now has to replenish that buy, he's down to $100. Nerds down to $550. Not too bad for Kick It, all things considered. But yeah, if Nerds or Ultimate in particular go down there without having impact, it does feel like the House of Cards just goes down so quickly. Once again, like that's one of the criticisms of Ultimate is sometimes you feel like he's a better rifler than AWPer. He doesn't quite have the impact with the AWP as you'd be hoping for, but you put a rifle in his hands and the man can go to town.
Yeah, that is a good point. We've seen it before. I mean, it's not a bad skill, I guess, to have if you can do both, but you just don't want to be suddenly a liability with the AWP. Obviously, that kind of counteracts the whole idea of being an AWPer, so Nerds again playing in this corner that he got rocked in last time from exit. Oh, he's managed to sneak his way down. All right, fair enough. Timing could be a bit weird because they are getting close here and they're going to run into the Orb of Ultimate outside. This time he's not going to miss the opportunity. Sue will get the one, but Exit is quickly on top of him. Good entry for him once again. Silige at the back of the site, and who better to try and hold on to the A-bomb site? He could have probably had that spray down. Nerds will show up for a double kill and they'll survive the round, but I think more importantly, they're going to get 2 AKs and stay alive with 3 people there. So Liquid, nice turnaround here. It's going to dig into the money of MIBR. This is a great recovery.
Yep, 2 rounds unanswered now. And the last one in particular, when it was round 7, they ended up picking up the real important one, the Nerds and Ultimate holding the B site. I think Elise might be a bit frustrated here as well, though, because although they did win the round, then obviously Nerds came in with a double, he was kind of left on the end of a fishing rod for too long. He was being baited super hard. Like, Nerds was in Squeaky for a while and probably could have sideswiped quicker and kept Elise alive. But woulda, shoulda, coulda. Doesn't really matter. They won the round all the same. And now it's MIBR's turn to call the tactical timeout, which has now come and gone. What is their play? They do have a couple of decent spawns for an A bit of aggression if they want to go for it again.
It's so much more risky to do now, I feel like, than it was. I feel like once you've done it the one time, you've already alerted the A-bomb site to it, but I guess we'll find out. There are still a lot of potentially interesting tricks to be played. This time looks like more of a default sort of setup, but ooh, running fast though. I say that. Insani's made his way here very quickly. Is he gonna... No, there's no space for it, is there? He really, really wanted to be quick there. Gonna wait for the first grenade. Elige testing the proposition. Second one coming in, but none of them enough to... Oh, they go a bit quick perhaps. Insani tapping away and defeating Naf there. So 1-for-1 trade, but they do get spotted outside. So I think this time at least Liquid have a bit of a read on what's happening, although the A-bomb site, how's Breno got here?
There's Nerds. I was waiting for that flank to come through. He was a player push Squeaky earlier on. Exit now caught between 2 minds as Ultimate and Elige are going to pick apart the T's. Now, Exit does have the benefit of being unknown. He's incognito at this point, but Ultimate checks his angles and dials in for a 12th. Some really nice work from Liquid again. And I was a bit concerned for Nerds there because he went for that rotational play through Squeaky. We saw it just before we had a look outside. And I thought he'd get lulled into a false sense of security, assuming that all the remaining T's had pushed downstairs. But he did just come back onto the A site and have a quick check. And he got the rewards for it in turn.
Yeah, really, really well done. That was a chaotic round, a classic nuke round where suddenly you have no idea where anybody is. And honestly, you're right, Nerds coming back from that HUD position, really helping out. But I was nervous that it was going to be Breno instead picking it up, and Liquid could have been in a lot of trouble there. So 5-4. They have a little bit of utility. They've got some Tech 9s, so they could be a bit dangerous in this round. All they need is to get a bit closer. They set up the wall here. But that's some great, the counter incendiary there to slow them down. I don't know why they're using both the grenades at the same time outside. For Liquid, that feels like, you know, a bit redundant perhaps. And it will allow a passage. Look at them walking past. That's all you're hoping for. But can they coordinate with the rest of the push, which is in lobby still at the moment? So there's going to be, I think, sort of a half an execute onto the A-bomb side. And then presumably they're going to be heading towards, ooh, not even the ramp. They're going to run back outside. That's crazy. There's nobody here.
3 players down on the site. Yep, it's completely open. Elige now finding out firsthand that there are multiple T's for him to contend with. The bomb plant already through. Shui has got himself the kill, but there is backup. Elige is going to be the spearhead once again, looking to try and crack open this site. As nades being tossed in as well, isolating off the control room with the smoke. Elige goes in, but Exit point blank with that Tech 9, not for the first time having success with it. Naf now needs to go through with a couple more kills as Kicker lines up with the P250 and bypasses finally shut down from Nerds, but they're wasting so much time off that clock. And now Klim with his P250.
What?
Oh, is asking so much from him. It's another close one, but Liquid dial the digits and get the defuse. There was a way forward for a few moments that MIBR could maybe pull out the rabbit out the hat.
I really thought they had that. That's remarkable play for having very little going into the round. even towards the end there, I think if Naf doesn't hit that shot almost immediately, that's it. That's a round over. Just to the time alone, you could tell at the end there was not a lot of time for the defuse happening. So 6-4. Liquid barely holding on. But there is a huge potential upside for them, right? At least they've got 6 rounds, but they could go on to do a little bit better here. They still got the money for it. They got the AWP on ultimate. He's been playing really well. This time, though, Elige to fall right at the start of the round. Insani from up high, able to take him down in the yard. Look at ultimate.
They may have lost the first player, but they're not slowing down here, Anders. Ultimate, what a position.
I mean, the bomb is in there while they're making their way. Honestly, if Sui dies, though, it might not matter that much. Oh, and will exit to find him. I think that forces Liquid to sort of start to rotate people around, and it's possible they're just going to dodge ultimate entirely. Nerds feeling the pressure, takes the fight. That's a great spray. Goes back for more, and he's so close to defeating Insani. Nerds trying to bring it back alone. You can see now ultimate's, because of the casualties on the other side, he's forced to sort of move forward into it, which is not really what he wanted to do to begin with, and I think he's potentially going to get jumped here. Picks up the AK instead. It's a nice start. He takes out Insani. What is happening? Can he go for another one? Kickett's on the other side. He will finally get the headshot and take down the ultimate, but that was about to be a sick round.
Yeah, I mean, ultimate did above and beyond what you could have really expected. Unfortunately, Naf was just a little bit too slow on the rotation. And although they could squeak together a buy if Naf dies here, obviously he's just not feeling it. He's going to save instead. On 2 kills, it's been a rough one for him individually, but a really nice attempt from Ultimate. 14 kills to his name, well over 110 ADR. Going to try and get some exit frags. Good enough for the first one. Tries to weaken Kicker, who survives on 8 from the bomb blast. They will be able to buy again, but MIBR making sure that Liquid don't run away with this half.
It's actually kind of significant that Kicker survived. I think they would have had to have saved maybe a little bit otherwise on the, or not saved, but they would have been a little bit poorer on the MIBR side. So what a round. Ultimate. This is close. It's real close to having the exact impact they were looking for, but solid shot from Kicker turns it around. 6-5, and round number 12 is coming up here. Nerds is playing pretty well in this map. He's got 10 kills, not that far behind Ultimate. So with the 2 of them, that's pretty good. Question is, could they find another round? I feel like whether it's 6-6 or 7-5 in favor of Liquid, I think either way, it's still a pretty competitive map here between the 2 teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think the kind of ebb and flow and back and forth between the 2 teams kind of solidifies that point as well, realistically. When it looked like Liquid were about to make some serious headway and pull away from MIBR, they just got brought back. The MIBR also, don't forget, they had a 4-2 lead in their favor. So they were definitely in the ascendancy for a while. Ultimate now, a different angle, aggressive outside. We've seen a lot of smoke walls and pushes, but this time Nerds is there to send Insani packing. That being said, though, MIBR actually have their eyes trained on ramp, which is pretty much bereft of any CTs. Elige has it covered, but from a very passive deep angle, can't stand to deliver in this position. So MIBR have ramp control for themselves. Whether they want to try and wrap around or go down ramp is yet to be determined, and they have 1 minute and 12 in order to make that decision.
The problem is, ramp is such a weird position to be in sometimes. I feel like it's especially rough when you have not that much control anywhere else on the map, so there's not a lot of guessing here. Some of the previous rounds, Liquid's real disadvantage has been that they don't really know where MIBR are now, but I feel like in this round they have such a great read of what's coming, and you can tell that because Nerds and Sui are already down here with a bit of a crossfire. Oh, this could be brutal. Nerds finally peeking in. Oh, he's been discovered, but they don't have a Molotov to get rid of him, so they have to get a bit closer, and that's not going to work out. He's so sharp right now. Flick through the smoke almost as he takes down Exit and keeps it going. The spray is in. He's found a 3rd kill, 4th actually. Gunning for the ace in this round. If he could just get a little bit of backup, maybe they could flash him in for it. He's got the reload this time, and Kicked up inside of the smoke here, trying to stay alive. Nertz is going to be found, so we'll deny the ace if nothing else, but it's still great play from him individually. Pretty much won the round single-handedly from behind the bomb sites. Kick it here. Everyone's peeking him at the same time. 7-5 at the end in favor of Liquid.
Yeah, I think that last round really highlights why people were so hype about Nertz after his heroic tenure when he went across to Liquid. A lot of teams wanted him. He was kind of like being rumored to have joined multiple teams at the same time, but it has been a little bit of a disappointment for him, I would think it would be safe to say, on his Liquid journey. But rounds like that really remind you, like, nah, this guy is honestly an incredible rifler in his own right. One of the reasons why you look at this team on paper and you do have high expectations of them, even if there's not much to be necessarily confident about or have too much faith in. But then you get around like that, and it just wakes you back up again. You're like, yeah, Nertz is the real deal. The guy's insane when he's on point.
He absolutely still has it. I've never really given up on him myself, but obviously there's been no question that he's had his struggles individually inside of his Liquid lineup. But when he's playing like that, you can see exactly what he could do. And I mean, this is on the CT side, right? But I would say the real strength and the real impressive work for Nertz for a lot of maps has been the entry fragging that he's been delivering on the T side in the past, right? It's super sick to watch. So he's just a spectacular player. Glad to see him kind of start to feel the game a bit more here. This is obviously a great sequence, but yeah, and it was needed too. Ultimate needed somebody else to really come and help him out. So between the two of them, they've done good work in this opening half. 7-5 though, we can't really celebrate too much for Liquid. It's still possible to throw this one away. They're now on the T side, and they're going to be rushing straight towards the ramp here. No slowing it down. Breno's calling it out, saying they're all showing up here, but the bomb plants should be secured at the very least for Liquid, and that's half the battle.
Ooh, that Molotov, it lands on 2 players, but Kickert's able to stand his ground and deliver onto a leash. As you highlighted, though, the bomb does get finalized.
No kit.
And now Shui. Oh, he's got the cross. Check this out. They expect this? They do, but it's half-assed. It's half-labored. One player not even looking there. Exit was anticipating the peek from the left-hand side, and they just get shut down. No kit not required in the end. Just pay the toll with their blood. As Liquid take the 8-5 lead, and MIBR, they're going to be forcing, but there's not going to be much to play with.
You know, that angle, Vince, that Sui is playing in there, I don't know why, but it's so hard to check on the CT side. Like, there's something about the geometry of the map over on that side. Like, you know it could be a problem, but you always feel like, no, surely no one's there, right? Like, it's not possible. It just looks like it shouldn't be a corner that someone could be hiding in. I feel like every time I see someone there, and they always find a way to get a kill, so... I like this setup here for Liquid, with everyone being more or less together. Just why give them a chance to pick you off one at a time here? They are going to be running into ramp, where it's a bit of a setup. I said earlier, pushing ramp when you know that they are incentivized to boost could be dangerous, but Liquid have managed to dodge that danger pretty well.
Ollie down onto the staircase once again is going to force the 2 CTs away. More importantly, the MP9 away into a more awkward angle, longer range, and Kicker gets punished. Had a bit of a resurgence towards the latter first half rounds, but not really giving too much in this one. And it's Ultimate again. It's always that question, like can they keep that pace, that momentum going through into the second half? Well, Ultimate says yes. Once again with that rifle showing that he is a real force to be reckoned with. And MIBR can do little but just save. And considering that they did force into this round, Liquid being 9-5 in the lead, it's starting to look pretty bleak for MIBR's prospects.
You know, I'm just realizing, Vince, we're experiencing a kind of Counter-Strike horseshoe theory, because you remember in the early days when we used to say things like, yes, like Guardian and Kenny S, they're really good with the AWPs, but what happens if you can't have the AWP? You know, then are you going to be able to rifle, or are you just going to be some sort of a weird liability? And now we're on the other side of it, where the AWPers are actually better with the rifles, like Saiwu and stuff like that. And like you got the AWPers that are hardly AWPing because the rifles are so good.
Yeah, it almost feels like at times, and this is maybe a weird thing to say, but it doesn't feel like I would necessarily call Saiwu and Ultimate AWPers necessarily, more like hybrids.
Yeah, that's true. That probably is the way to really interpret that. But it's just funny that we've kind of gone the full circle around pretty much. But yeah, definitely hybrid AWPer probably is a term that we should be employing more frequently, so as not to mistake them for like the raw AWPers like Monacy or a Brokey or someone who's going to try and get it no matter what. Oh my god, look at the mechanics for Nerds. I actually can't believe it. Even though it's, you know, it's unarmored opponents, it should be, you know, not that difficult. It's just he's so sharp. I love Nerds, man.
You say that as he completely derps the grenade.
I did, yes.
Perfect timing. Perfect dose, but I can't disagree with you. He does have insane mechanics, and when he's feeling confident, there's not many players that can stand toe-to-toe with him, as MIBR are finding out firsthand. Sure, it is an eco round, and Liege were the easiest to shut downs, but nice work from Klim's Deagle. Does mean that they can take 2 rifles. The problem is the bomb blast radius on Nuke is significant, so you have to start saving now. You can't sit around and wait for exit frags or any of that nonsense. You're both super low HP. You need to get back to that T-spawn. But is Exit looking for an upgrade AK? I'm not sure what he's doing right now.
Yeah, probably right. Maybe he's crossing his fingers that someone's going to exit this way and he can find a couple of kills that way. But yeah, it does seem like things are getting kind of rough. Yeah, look at him hoping to land it on somebody down there, but they are all the way across the map, so... Oh.
Bro, like, I literally... I've even said this before. I know he can't hear me, so I don't know, I'm getting annoyed. But, like, bro, you're on low HP and it's Nuke. You have to know the bomb radius. That's horrible that you've lost that rifle.
Oh,
I'm actually triggered right now. I'm actually triggered.
Yeah. That's what we need in the future for a production kind of thing. We need to be able to call the players ourselves, like the casters can just, like, hold down a button and say, what are you doing? That'd be great. It's 10-5, Vince. This is quickly getting out of control right now. Liquid, though, in rare form right now. I must be honest, watching the way that Twist has been playing on FaZe and just imagining this is the guy that Liquid lost. Not to say that, you know, oh, it's just Elige. Elige is a sick player, but he's not the one that's doing the work right now. It's Nerds and Ultimate. This Liquid team is looking super fresh and exciting. I'm actually getting a little bit hyped up, that is the Liquid trap, by the way. This is how they get us every time. Nerds, good opening. 1-for-1 trade to begin with. Breno, still in the garage, and yeah, free kill for him. Nobody knew that he was there. I'm getting sucked into the Liquid vortex again. I can feel it.
You're beginning to believe, Anders.
I've been here before. I don't want to.
It's a dangerous thing.
I need like a tattoo on my arm that just reminds me, don't do it.
Well, they're not out of this round just yet. Could get the drop onto Kicker and comes out ahead. Doesn't lose a huge amount of HP either. Could go in for seconds, but Exit's there, deal with him. Meanwhile, though, it's all a ruse. Misdirection, smoke and mirrors as the bomb gets planted down on the B site. And Ultimate, the monster himself, is still alive. Needs to be slain. And Shui's going to be fed to the oncoming CTs, while Ultimate goes in for more. Shui wide swings while Molotov down and gets himself both the frags. It turns out he was the real danger after all. And Liquid, they're going to regain your hope, that's for sure, Anders, after that 3v4 comeback.
I'm still getting the tattoo, but that is a sick play from especially from Sui. The fact that he was willing to sacrifice so much health just to not be forced into the peak before he wanted to, that's incredible presence of mind. It's obviously very, very stressful when you're playing that position. Like you feel like, oh, I've got to move out. That's exactly what they're hoping for. Look at how cool he is. He's fighting the first fight in the Molotov, and he's accepting the fact that he's going to burn even more. He took something like 70 damage from just waiting behind the pillar there, and it works out. So cool to see. They just need 2 more rounds, and they're going to walk away with a 2-0 victory here. MIBR, they must be feeling frustrated, and beyond that as well. The money is kind of questionable. They're going to have enough for a buy, but some of the utility, a lot of the utility is going to be missing.
I think the thing is going to sting as well, Anders. It's like MIBR, they've had chances on this Nuke map. Realistically, like they've had 2v4s in their favor. They've had the opening picks. They've had economy being established a fair few times, but they're just running out of firepower, it seems like. Like Ultimate Nerds just styling on you, just winning these 1v2 sort of mini clutches by themselves on the periphery of the map over and over again, and it doesn't seem like you're really in any point able to stand and sort of deliver or really like trade blows. They've just been outclassed.
Yeah, this is honestly when we were in Serbia for the Fisher 2 tournament, Liquid, even though we knew at that point, like halfway through the tournament, we obviously discovered that Twist wasn't going to be part of the lineup anymore. But even from that point on, they played fun Counter-Strike. They played with great energy. And I think I even said at the time, no matter what happens to this Liquid team, I want to see that in the future. Like, I want to see them play Counter-Strike like it's actually fun for them and not just like a dreadful sort of experience that they're getting dragged through, which honestly in the past we've seen Liquid play kind of like that. So I hope they can keep this up, because look at what it does to Nerds and Ultimate when the confidence is just completely off the charts. You know, they're having fun, they're running through, they're just shooting people in the face. It's really sick, and I think that goes a long way. It's worth remembering even for professional teams that, unfortunately, if it's not that much fun to play, it just sucks all of the energy right out of the game for you.
Oh, Kicker. I think he was anticipating that Exit would have his angles covered, but now gets both? I mean, one's bad enough. Both plays is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. That's a wild entry. Triple for Naf in the right. He's been a bit quiet. That was his 7th kill right there. But certainly enough to get them to 12, which, by the way, would be series point. And like you said, a chance to go to the playoffs, dodge the rest of the group stage here, and just kind of chill out for a little bit. Enjoy Shanghai, perhaps. Nert's going to get another kill. Him and Ultimate at 19 and 20 kills. That is so hard to compete with. Look at the other side. We've got 2 players in Kikit and Insani that have just managed to reach 10.
There is a serious lack of equilibrium. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that Naf gets both of those. Like the first frag onto Kicker, it feels like maybe not on the same page. Understandable, he's not been in the team for that long, just around a month or even less than that. But then to pick up Exit as well is absurd. And third and final tactical timeout called by MIBR as they face a loss, not an elimination, should be mentioned. This is the upper bracket winners match, you could say, between these two teams. So Liquid would qualify for the playoffs if they were to dial in one of these next 7 rounds. They just get a fast track to the playoffs, whereas MIBR would need to play again in Group A. But it is kind of crazy, isn't it, when you look at the amount of firepower and you look at Liege. 8 kills. It's not that he's played bad by any stretch. No. He's just not been needed.
Well, but I think that's great news. I think, you know, because we know Elige can do it. We saw that on the opening map, so there's no question about it. But we don't want him to be under the kind of pressure where he has to do it every single time, which, you know, not to throw any shaded complexity, but it felt like for a minute there, that was happening on that team, right? And I don't think that's a good mental state for him to be in, so it's got to be good to feel that way. Sui's going to get one. Another great opening here as they're on the A-bomb site, and Ultimate pre-firing practically that angle, or at least pre-aiming it. Renault running through the flames and right into the hell that's on the other side. Nerds spinning around and landing a double kill, and that's it. Liquid ending up with a victory here in a quick fashion against MIBR.
Well, if you had any doubts about sort of the mentality on the side of Liquid, that's one hell of a way to put those to the side for the time being, because when you're winning, you don't give a damn. Smiles on the face of everybody. Nerds taps his table in jubilation at the end.